Social media is not SEO. Happy Friday and welcome to the Marketing Club. You already know it's about to be another great time here on the app. I'm really excited to share with you some really cool insights that we can, discuss, disseminate, demystify, and also pre-qualify because of the fact that SEO is not just for websites, it's for search, it's for experiences, it's beyond the norm. There's so much that we can, look into, look out for. And this is something I want us to, talk about and, really discuss so that we can also have a goal, because the goal is not just to you know do work. It's to make sure that the work is done in a good way, in the right way, and that in itself is also going to give you results for your business. There's so many things that we have to think about, when it comes to processing content, making sure that we have all the important attributes that we can actually see. These are things that we have to look out for, because on a daily basis, we're still learning, we're still growing, we're still understanding, and we're still trying to figure out, what are we trying to gain from, all these things. Because it's very important to know, what you're doing content wise, right? Like there has to be something that is going to have to give you, results, because you can answer questions, you can go online, you can build content, you can really do a lot of good things, but at the end of the day, what is the major component, right? What are we really, doing to make sure that even our social media is doing what it's supposed to do, right? There's so many factors that social media has to play, and one of them is by building awareness, because the awareness that you're building is going to give people the content that they need, right? Because there's going to be always an opportunity for someone to learn something new, right? Always going to be an opportunity for someone to understand, what they want, what they need, what they're looking for, what is their goal, what is their target, do they have a goal in the first place, what is their major need. And for us to fulfill that need, we need to also be on the search phase. We need to be in the search places. And I've really looked into this in a very specific way, because a lot of brands, right, a lot of good brands, really good brands, they focus on brand partnerships, because brand partnerships is what's going to make your social media engaging or not, right? Because you have content from all over the world in so many different places, and many people are learning from you. They want to work with you, they want to learn how, you know, what you need, right? This is where it all starts. And happy Clubhouse birthday to you, Monty. What did you say? Good morning. Good morning as well to you, Jacob, Azamat, Doja, Tareen, Brianna, and Unique. Thanks for being here. Yesterday was really dope. Thanks for being here as well, Marie, Therese. Hope I said it correctly. Thanks for being here with us today. This is a great time to be here and learn about social media, SEO, and really what the intention is behind what we're doing, because there's so many things that we have to, to think about, especially for 2025. What are we going to do? How are we going to, to build this? Yeah, it's been 4 years on this app, bro. It's gonna be 4 years for me on Sunday. So I know exactly how you feel. It's crazy. Like, the time has gone by. I've seen so many things. I've learned from so many people. I've connected with so many. It's just beautiful to see this happening. And Clubhouse is still on Clubhouse. Clubhouse is still moving. It's still making waves. I meet people are like, is Clubhouse still on? Is Clubhouse still here? Yes, it is. I think it's just what you make out of it. It's not just about being here because we have a platform, but it's also because we want to help and also get you to that result that you're looking out for. So this is why I brought this topic today, right? This is why I brought this topic in today. Whether you're looking for SEO services, whether you're looking for email marketing services, social media support, billboard advertising, paid service, holiday marketing, websites, branding, all those things come together at some point because you're also going to need to use them simultaneously, right? And if you need any questions or help, if you want to ask any questions directly, if you don't want to ask the question here, that's totally fine. You can click the link above, and when you scroll all the way down to the bottom, just leave your contact information, and it will redirect you to a page where you can book a call, and we're going to get on that call and talk about everything that you need for your business so that you can save time. This is if you are interested in this and if this is something that you're looking for. Now, why I'm so excited about this topic today is because I want to dispel this. Hey Bia, I want to dispel this whole thing about SEO and social media because the same thing is going on with AI. People are saying ChatGPT is SEO. I'm like, huh? What? No, it's not. It's not. It's really not because social media is social. Like even the word social media is telling you that it requires people. It requires social media without people is not social. What's up, Bia? Super Bia. That actually rhymes. you know, you have to think about who you're connecting with. Social media, social media, social media. You hear social media, you think Facebook, you think Instagram, you think LinkedIn, you think TikTok, you think Snapchat, you think, the list is endless. Even Clapper. I'm back on Clapper now. I've just been getting, updates on Clapper. I'm like, who's liking my videos? And the last time I posted was last year. And I'm like, okay, there's something about this app. So I started posting again and I'm still getting followed. I'm still getting likes. I'm like, okay, Clapper. Now I know what to do here because it's more of a mature audience there too. So you're using social media, but it's not SEO. What is SEO? SEO is a search engine. Like, let me put it this way. I want to give you a good analogy, right? So I don't know if this is going to make sense, but yeah, if you're driving a car and you're driving this car on a road, right? This car you're driving is the one car that has everything that you have, your wallet, your bag, your, if you have clothes, your whatever it is, your stuff, right? And that is in your car. Now, somebody outside cannot know what's going on in the car unless they ask you, unless they get in, right? Now, social media means that your car is in the middle of traffic and there are other cars like yours out there and everybody's out there in traffic, right? Now, social media is that community. Like everybody on this road is going to this exit because this is how they go to work. This is where they go to get this done because this is a pathway to their success, right? So that is the community you're connecting with. So when you think about social media and SEO, SEO is not that community. Yes, it is part of the community, but SEO is what people are seeing in that community. So if you're driving to a certain place, if you're driving to the dry cleaners, it's because you have some things that you want to dry clean, right? And you're going to the dry cleaners office because you want to get that done. So there's a drive that you take, there's a route that you take that takes you to that destination. Now SEO is that taking you to the destination. Social media is, I have this, I'm showing up, let's like it, let's comment, let's share, and let's go home. Social media, it starts with connection, and that can lead to anything else. You know, I can like you on Threads, I can follow you on Instagram, I can listen to you on Clubhouse, and then I can follow you on TikTok. That totally happens. That's fine. That's social media because we're being social, we're connecting. I don't want to just follow you only on one platform. I want to follow you beyond one platform. And those platforms is where conversations begin. Now, SEO is the exact opposite. SEO, search engine optimization, is where people go with the mentality to find something. When you go into social media, you're not going into social media to purchase something, right? You're not going into social media to make a purchase. You're going into social media to know what's going on. That's a completely different mindset. When you go to a grocery store, you're going there to, handle your list, right? If you have a grocery list, you're going to get everything on that list because you want to cook something, because you want to make something, because you want to do something. So that's what's going to make you go to the grocery store with the intention of making a purchase. So your mentality is different. If somebody goes to the park, they're not going to the park to make a purchase. They're going there to catch some air, to walk, to chill, to meditate, to have conversations with people they can meet, to socialize. That is not going to give them, they're not going to think about purchasing a Christmas tree, right? So when you're in those places, when people are searching, that's where you're able to find social media. So just to give you a case in point, if I'm looking for, let's say, I'm looking for the best way to clean my house, then I stumble on an article, and that article tells me how to clean my house better and maybe save time with better methods. Then I get in there, I find they have a TikTok, you know, guide or a TikTok reel or even a YouTube video explaining what this is all about. Now, from me looking for cleaning solutions, to me finding your cleaning business brand on Google, because I don't know the name of your business, but I know the problem I need solved. So if I'm going to solve this problem, then I'm going to solve this problem by finding the solution. Finding the solution means finding the right person, right? When you're looking for someone to work with, someone to hire, someone to do business with, someone to connect with, it all takes decision making, right? Because yesterday I was talking about, the ABCDs of content. There's content awareness, there's content broadcasting, there's content connection, and there's content distribution, right? Those are the four that I put in a quadrant. So having those allows you to make those things, because you can't broadcast something you don't have. You can't give what you don't have. With SEO, you need to give before you have. That's the rule of SEO. You give before you have. You give before you have. Welcome, Andre and Tina. Good to have you as well. Trap, Denise, Dottie, and Jivan. How do I say the name? Jivan. Damn, I hope I said it correctly. You have to give, right? You have to give. Like, it's a biblical principle, it's a life principle, it's a human principle. You cannot give what you don't have. For SEO, you need to give before you have. Before you have traffic, you need to give information. That's the rule of thumb. If you can't give information, you can't get traffic. You can't get information from people. You can't get data. You can't get solutions. It's not going to work, because you will be looking for this information and you're thinking, oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Yet you're completely missing the boat. You're missing the opportunity. You're missing the people. You're missing the zone, right? Yeah, you're right, Bia. People forget to be social on social media, because you're looking for, oh, who's going to like this? Who's going to comment? Who's going to DM me? Who's going to DM me the word? Up. Like, there's always going to be something happening, right? Because it's like, oh, react, respond, react, respond. Do I react? Do I respond? Do I respond? Do I react? In the case of SEO, we're not even thinking about those things. SEO, completely out of it, because SEO is where people are searching. They're searching. On social media, they're being social. Like, there's a huge difference. Social means I'm connecting with you. Hey, let's hang out, let's go for a picnic, let's go for a walk, let's talk. That's social because I want to be socially connected to you. I want to feel like I'm part of a community. That's social. It's called social media. If it was just called media, then everybody has their own local drives, to run something. But it's social because there is something attached to that. There's a connection, right? Social media is great, but social media is not where it ends. That's another thing. Because when people say that social media, yeah, it's great, but if your social media is not benefiting your SEO, then there's a problem there too. There's a big problem there too, because your SEO needs to be on point. And on point means that you need to have structure, because there's coming a time, like there's a time that's coming that I think from what I'm seeing, from what I've been researching, SEO, don't quote me, but I do my research and please do yours too. But what I'm noticing is that SEO is slowly turning. And when I say turning, think about branding when I say this word. SEO is slowly turning. I mean, it already is. I know I'm giving you guys a little some suspense, right? SEO is not just search engine optimization. In the near future, and near future is probably 2-3 years from now, or in 2024, borderline 2025, by 2028, 2030, SEO, people will be saying, they will be saying SEO, but I think people will be saying thought leadership more than SEO. That's because there are so many AI content writers now. There are so many platforms you can write SEO with ChatGPT. You can do SEO with AI. Everybody's doing SEO now. It's like everybody's an SEO champion. That's what it looks like. In 2020, I remember on Clubhouse, everybody had a course. It's just crazy how times are flying. So in the next 4 years, everybody's a thought leader. Everybody is a champion in something. And we're all champions, yes. We should be, because that's what makes us, right? But if you want to be a champion, if you want to be a top authority, you have to write thought leading content. Thought leading content. Because the content that you have is going to make a difference between you and the next person that's reading what you're talking about. Because if somebody's going to read your article, it's because you. Let's start there. They like you because if you don't like someone, you're not going to spend time with them. So they already like you. That's already a good thing, right? So if they like you, they want to learn more about you because they want to learn what you're talking about, right? And that's where conversation begins, right? When you think about social media like Instagram, right? Instant gratification, right? Instagram gives you instant results after publishing. Oh, 3 likes, 5 likes, 10 likes, 50 likes, 1,000 likes. It starts bumping up the charts, right? Then, for some reason, everything starts to go quiet. And maybe after 3 weeks, you're not getting those same likes. So you're like, what is going on here? Nobody's seeing my post anymore. Is it making sense? Am I on brand? Have I missed the amount? Like, what's happening? So that question starts lingering, and then eventually you're like, okay, I have to create another post, then another post, then another post. Before you know it, you have 1,000 Instagram posts, but you don't have a single news article post on your website, and you're paying your time with Instagram, and you're paying your money with your website because you're paying for that domain, and you're not paying attention to your domain's time value exchange over time with the content that you have. Imagine if those 1,000 posts on Instagram reflected, like, let's do a ratio of 1 to 1, right? For every one post that you have on social media, you have one article. So if you have one YouTube video, you should have one news article on your website that's leading back to the YouTube video, because you're creating a social network. That's the goal. Facebook.com is a social network. Instagram.com is a social network. Why is your website not a social network? Social means that there's community. It means that there are people who go here, they frequent, right? So if I go to Instagram.com, it's because I know that there's a community there that I want to connect with. So if they come to your website.com, it's because you talk about something frequently that people are interested in. That's how they're going to find your content. Your content is not just there because you want to start having content. Your content is there because you want to build relationships, right? Because social media gets you instant publishing, instant gratification, instant results. Search results, they're delayed. People don't like to be delayed. People do not like delay at all. So that's why they'd rather not do SEO, because they're like, this thing's going to take 3 months, it's going to take 6 months, it's going to take a year. I don't have time for that. Yet you have all the time in the world to do something else and post reels and dance on TikTok and have a good time. Great. Have a good time, but also show a good time to the web. Show it to the world. Show it to your website. Show it to your domain. Have access to that, because that's what's going to give you response, because people are going to learn from you, because you can be talking about one topic all day, and that's probably not what they want to hear you talk about. If you listen to someone that you like to listen to and they talk about something completely different from what you're used to listening them about or for, you're not going to listen to them for another maybe 10 minutes, because it's not working. I didn't come here for this information, so I don't need to be here. And I respect myself and leave, and I'll be back. But if I want to stay, then it means that there's something you're saying that is resonating with me. I may not be getting what you're saying right now, but it's making sense because it actually makes points that I've been trying to clear. It's clarifying things that I've been thinking about. It's making me think about more than just social. So I want to make sure that you also see that social media is a great place to be, but it's also a great place to connect. It's a great place to connect. It's a great place to be. It's a great place to show your true worth. Like, just think about the goal you're setting for yourself, right? The number of people you want to connect with online. It's a lot of people, right? It's a lot of people. And the more people you connect with, the more questions you get, right? Like, beginning of this year, for example, just to give you social media referencing, right? I was stuck at about 6,000 followers on LinkedIn for about, I would say for about, 2, 3 years. Because I joined LinkedIn in, I think, was it March 2016. I joined Instagram July 7th, 2012. I joined Clubhouse November 24th, 2020. I joined X or link, oh, not LinkedIn, X, which is Twitter, July 2010. So I've seen social media. I remember High Five, MySpace. We all remember those days. And we're looking at a time now that if you're just using social media for writing, for content, but your content is also not getting to the search engines, then that's a problem. Why am I saying it's a problem? Because it's getting to a point where it's no longer just search engine optimization, it's search everywhere optimization. So everywhere that your social media is showing up on the web needs a connection back to your website. Your website is the web page, is a web space, if I can put it like that. It's a web property that allows you to become an authority. So if you're posting something online, point it back to your website. Honestly speaking, if social media didn't need SEO, then none of these platforms that we use for social media would require you to add a link in your profile. Why do all the social media platforms that you have tell you to add a link? Why do they tell you to add a link? If it was just social media, then we don't need a link. We can just be social here, have a, happy camping, and, call it a day. But we put links there because we want to link people to things that we do outside the platform. So if you're linking them to a link tree, if you're linking them to another platform, that's great. But if your website is not part of that list on Linktree and everything else is Amazon, Shopify, if you have a website, great. If it's a Shopify app, great. If it's nothing that your website is showing that's giving that value, then it's just a matter of time and your social media will just go down. And we've seen it before countless times when social media shuts down. Oh, Facebook is shut down. Instagram is shut down. Clubhouse is shut down. Something else shut down. Why wouldn't it shut down? Because it's a server. It's serving you. It's serving you information. If I can't serve, then somebody else has to serve, right? So if the social media is not working, where do people go to? Email. Where do people go to? Podcast. Like if you think about it really well, where people are connecting the most, it's on these platforms because these are the platforms that you want people to see. You want people to connect with you. You want people to learn from you. You want people to learn what you do. Then SEO is where you need to focus and have that priority because it's just a matter of time that your social media will just, whoop, it will go down the drain. And I've talked about it before, with the half-life of social posts. I think it's really like in minutes and hours. It's not even in days and weeks and months. It's different, right? Because when you're searching, search gets you more conversions. Because I believe the reason why you're posting on social media as a business is to get more business, right? Let's put a 1 in the chat if that's true, put a 2 in the chat if that's wrong. Your goal on social media is to, get results, get conversions, get connections, not just build, right? So you're building this to build attention, but also within that building, you're also building structure. So the structure you're building is very important to look at because you're creating connections with people. You want to get more conversions, then fulfill the query. What is the query? I'm looking for a massage gun. I'm looking for, a hard drive. I'm looking for a music jingle. I'm looking for, hotel discounts. Whatever it is, right? You're going to get that exact search you search for. If I'm looking for a broomstick, if I'm looking for a couch, if I'm looking for, you know, anything, a frisbee, you'll find exactly what you're looking for in the search results. Now, if your product is not in those search results, then it means that you're not on the search engine. That's the simple truth. How do you get on the search engine? By connecting your website to the search engines. Because every other website, Facebook, Amazon, all of them did their due diligence by connecting their website to Google at one point in time. It doesn't have to be done all the time. It's a one-time fix, it's a one-time setup, but it's a forever time implementation plan. It has to take time, right? Because the time it's taking is allowing your business to take that next step, right? When you're thinking about business, it's a long-term effect, right? We're building 2 websites for 2 real estate agents, and then one of them is in Calabasas, the other one is in Houston, right? I'm in Houston, and just hearing them and also connecting, I'm like, okay, what is the goal? Just to give you guys an example, right? Because when I look at different companies and look at different industries, I see the same thing across all board, which is they all need a website to convert. They all need email connections. They all need those things. So if we search for your name, like that's what I did with them, search for their name. And most times you're going to get their profiles on, Zillow or realtor.com or HR if specifically to where you are. And then depending on your state, you get those different categories, right? Now, I told them, and it was clear. I'm having a meeting with one of them as well today, and the other one tomorrow. What I came to realize is that because you're also leveraging on other websites, because you need other websites to also validate your brand because of the closings, because of the reviews, because of the listings, because of the brand, because of the integrity. Like all those things have to play, right? But if your website is not the first thing they see before they see the brand that you're associating with, there's a problem. Not, I mean, there's really no problem at all. But here's a long term effect. If you don't build your own business, your own website with your own domain, which has your own portfolio, because you can have a portfolio in different places, right? You can be everywhere. You can be on Wikipedia, you can be on Forbes, you can be on Google, you can be on your website, you can be on Instagram. That's perfectly fine. But if your website is missing in the mix, it's like not paying yourself first, right? Pay yourself first because you're paying time to the investment of what you're producing, right? And quality. So if you're producing quality on other people's websites, you're doing well. That's great. That's how Wedding Wire, Yelp, all of them, that's how they became really famous because they focused on community building because other people were building their proprietary information on second party websites that they don't own, but they can control. They can't really control it to the full capacity, but it's partial control because you have a login, you have your own dashboard, you have your own listings, you have your own, account, which is cool. But when it comes to the actual ownership of the property online, that's where it's missing. Because if let's say, perfect example, let's say you've closed 3 4 homes, right, in a month, just average. And yes, they are in the listings on other websites, but imagine on your website you're explaining, and this is coming back to the topic, you're explaining how this was done. You may not, and I'm sure some people may not want to disclose that because there's so many things you have to think about, legalities and all these things, but doing it in a way that is also, first of all, there's a consensus, there's an agreement, and it's also something that is transparent because you're putting this out to the world, right? Even though your website, your listing is out there, your website also needs to have a link that talks about how we helped this business or how we helped this family or how we helped this person get to this result. And then we show them a YouTube video. Most times people go to YouTube. Instead of having that YouTube video and sending them always to youtube.com, because every time you go to youtube.com, that is screen time, that is reading time, that is click rates, that's intel, that's data, that's intelligence, right? That's every single time you log into this website, that's what's happening, capturing data, capturing time spent, capturing all that information. So instead of them going to your YouTube channel to watch all your videos, they're watching all your videos on your website through YouTube because YouTube is connected to your Instagram. In other words, you have Instagram content, the short form, you have TikTok, short form, you have YouTube, short and long form, and you're building that consistently all the time. So the more you're able to build that over time, you're creating consistency with people, right? And that's where social media comes into play because without social media, you won't be able to see the community that you're serving. But SEO is the beginning of search that leads to the social media platform, right? Social media is not just for showing up because you can have content and everybody does content, but your social media is so that people can align with your interest. But the intent is for them to learn about what you do. But when they go to search, their intent is to find out the fulfillment that you can provide. And that requires taking action. It requires relevance. It requires searching. It requires intent. It requires publishing. Like I mentioned earlier, you can't give what you don't have. If you don't have content, then why are you posting 3 times a day on Instagram when those 3 posts could also be 3 articles on your website? And then you have 6 posts on the web, 6 links. You have 3 Instagram links, individual, identity, completely 100% unique. And then you have 3 internal linking posts on your website that's internally linking those 3 together. Because on Instagram, every page is on their own. They're squares. They're on their own. So when you have this square, that square, another square, all those squares on Instagram are all individual. On TikTok, they're all individual. Now on your website, you're bringing them together because now you can refer to a link that you talked about, a reel that you talked about, a short that you talked about, and then you bring them all together into your website. And that gives you traffic because that traffic is leveraging social media coverage. So you can't do SEO and not think about social media because that's where you're going to send people to when you now connect with them on search. If I search for something on YouTube, I like what you're saying, I'm going to sign up to your email list. Now I get an email. I can see, oh, you're on Instagram too. I see a reel. Oh, you have an actual store. Let me visit. So it takes one point of interaction to lead to the next. But before the next is even revealed, you need to start with the connection from the beginning. So those are some things to look out for because I want us to really dispel that social media is not SEO. And if you think it is, we need to redefine what SEO is for you so that your social media is actually the right way, to do business and to do it correctly for your brand. Hey, John, happy Friday. We'd love to hear your thoughts too.
Happy Friday to you as well. Happy Friday, everybody. Yeah, there's a distinct difference. So, for those who know me, I use social media, primarily Facebook, to direct traffic. What a lot of people don't get, first of all, most social media platforms are not great for SEO because they don't follow. It's a term these. They don't follow backlinks, so you don't get backlink credit from them. The exception being, I think, is LinkedIn, which has a really high domain authority. The main difference that people don't get with SEO, it's really about your content, exposing people to your content, um, why they should check it out, why they should consume it. They're searching for specific things. You really want to be there when they do that search, either in traditional SEO programs or podcast directory searches. The main difference with social media is, and this is what a lot of people don't seem to get, social media is a place to attract potential consumers of your content. It is not a place to primarily sell your content. It's a great place for creating a community of potential customers. And I'm using a fishing analogy I always use. You have two choices. You can drop your bait in an area with no fish, or you can put a chum, which is bait liquid material to attract the fish you want to the area you're at. And that's what social media is best used for, attracting the fish you want. And then the bigger your audience, the more when you do put posts up periodically about your content, your sales, your expertise, your product, your business, your service, I go with philosophy of 5 to 1. There's 4 posts for my community and one for that, or 4 to 1. So the one is the ask from me, and the other 3 or 4 are building potential consumers and customers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John, for that insight. Yeah, especially when you talked about the backlink authority and, the consistency and domain relevance, it's huge, especially when you think about your industry and where you're putting your industry, where it's going, how your industry is building. And if you really know that your industry requires to be on this platform, then that's where you spend your most time on. And that's where research comes in. Because if you're posting on Instagram every time and your audience is actually on LinkedIn or your audience is on TikTok, it's different. You have to think through, okay, what are we really going to do so that our social media is standing out and we're also connecting with people. Just to give you some context, this just happened like about an hour ago. I got a request on Instagram. I was like, I didn't want to do it, but I was like, let me just try it out. I got a request on Instagram when I got to my profile page and they were inviting me to be a creator. And I'm like, okay, I didn't opt in. So why what's the point here? So I continue, I keep going. I dropped it the first time. I said, yeah, I don't really want to do this because that's creativity and all that stuff. And yeah, I could put that into what I'm really doing, but I don't want to do too much. Then something said, just go back in and see what they're actually talking about. So I went back in, and then I went through the whole process. Come to find out that, and I'm sure this has been happening, but I rarely use Instagram for this, but I think now it's time to probably do this for 2025. I got accepted into this creator program on Instagram where brands can pay you internally for, like, pretty much like influencer deals. We all know these things. And they have their price, they say the number of reels, the timeline and everything. I'm like, this is new. I haven't seen this before, because I rarely do, creative branding on Instagram. But I said, you know what, let me see how I can help them, because this is the perfect context for this room. Because yes, they can pay you $100 to post 2 reels. Great. But I'm coming back with them and I'll tell them, hey, these 2 reels that we're going to post are not just going to live on Instagram, but they're going to live on a website where that somebody that's looking for your product, your brand, can find it on Google. And then to make even better, we're going to have you as a podcast guest and also sponsor your show or sponsor your brand, your product, whatever it is that you're presenting, because they all have different things. And that allows them to have backlinks, because we have a backlink opportunity. I think my I checked my Ahrefs, was in Moz. My backlinks, my not backlink, my domain authority for the domain itself, they're different in every different place, but the domain authority I have is 32. So that means that if you have a website and you have information within the first 24 hours, Google or other search engines credit your website because you have been creating content over time. So what I would do is say, okay, yeah, we'll do these 2 reels, we'll do these 2 posts, but on top of this, to make sure that you can get your return on investment, because that's the goal, return on ad spend, return on investment. We're going to make this from just having an Instagram post which lasts about 17 hours on average lifetime, and move that up to 24 months lifetime by putting that on a blog. So if somebody searches for your brand and they're looking for, let's say they do hiking and they want to use your product for hiking, and they're looking for that and they're looking for alternatives, we can have an article that actually has a commercial piece that includes your brand. So when your brand is included, now you're part of the conversation. Now you're actually part of the consideration phase. So that's what I'm going to be doing with my podcast, and also bringing them on, as opposed to just having a creator reel, creator reel bonus, yay, go your own way. No, I want to add value. And they probably don't even know that. And they all have websites. They all have websites. All these brands have websites. So I'll do a brand audit, do an SEO audit, see what they're lacking, and then whatever they need, I'll give them what they need. And then after that, I'll tell them this is what you also need, because it will help you so that the next time you're doing this, you have a much wider scope. And at the end of the day, our goal is to make sure that you increase your brand's market share online year over year. That's the goal. Everybody wants to have that. So if you're on Alexa this year and you weren't there last year, that's an improvement. So those are some things that I wanted to just let you know about that too. So Instagram is popping. Have you guys heard about that? John, and welcome, Samara.
Yeah, I have. And there's something similar that a lot of people are not aware of. Meta, which owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, they will pay you different levels. Right now on the performance bonus, they have that for Facebook, they have it for Instagram as well. And there are people literally making, as we speak, $30,000 to $60,000 a month just off their reach. And what draws reach is engagement, um, which is so they're clicking the emojis or making a comment. But I've not applied for the Instagram one yet. So a lot of the ones where people say they'll sponsor spots, I'm reluctant to, because they want control of your platform and access to it. And quite often that leaves you open for hackers and people of ill repute.
Oh, wow. I love that you mentioned that too, because it's also good to, look and see what businesses you want to work with too. And I love that with Instagram in their disclaimer, they said that the business happens, the conversation of the business happens outside Instagram. So once they accept the request and they choose you as a person that they want to work with out of your portfolio, then they'll now consider you, and then you have a conversation offline. So it's really good because that way you're also able to build brand partnership, brand loyalty, and have a brand promise. And then, topping it off with digital billboards, being in those places, if they're able to think about how much they're spending, if they're spending 10-15% on their budget a year for ads or for marketing, how can they turn that to maybe 8%, 7% and save so that they can actually still make more money and reduce their overhead costs? So there's some things that you can look at when it comes to SEO that can really benefit you on a 2-year timeline if you really pay attention to the signs and the keywords that are in front of you. So that was a good one, John. Thanks for being here as well. And Samara, good morning. It's been a while. Happy Friday. Would love to hear your thoughts. Welcome to the room.
Hey, good morning. I couldn't hear from the audience because my Bluetooth wasn't working right. So I was like, oh, I'll just raise my hand. And then I realized it's just you and John up here. And I'm like, oh, sorry. So it's an interesting topic that you're talking about. I'm not an expert in social media or SEO. I hire my team does all that, my branding team, my social media team. But I've been doing a lot of research and interviews about SEO recently. And, it I have Go High Level for my CRM system, and some of my VAs were using Go High Level for social media posts, others don't. But what's interesting is when you're creating your landing pages, people ignore the SEO section of that, and that's also really crucial, and it gets ignored. And so when we did an SEO test, it was like initially it was like C plus on my new website, and so now, like, working towards adding into the SEO because, everyone spends so much time on social media and building landing pages, but they really don't pay attention to SEO. And I get mixed answers from some of the experts as to whether or not it even matters. But I still think that SEO does. When I had my company for 12 years, I was on the top of Google search as an event planner in Houston because I was niched. I was in a market and I was in a location that was niche. It was Houston, mostly Texas. So it was easier to get to being up to the top. Plus, I was, all over the place marketing. Great.
Oh, you're in the matrix, Samara. Or was it just me? Okay, maybe she'll be back, but I didn't hear the cut.
Oh, did you not hear?
It was kind of cutting out towards the end.
Yeah, just I don't know if you can hear me now, but just the
Yeah,
fact that that it does matter with the SEO when it comes to your landing pages, and I find that it gets ignored a lot, and then I get mixed answers as to whether or not SEO matters. But it's interesting that you're tying social media to SEO because I've never heard anyone do that.
thank you, Samara. Yeah, SEO is definitely underrated. I always say that the most underrated platforms or just ways of communication that I've seen across all boards is email marketing is underrated, SEO is underrated, and blogging is underrated. Those three things are highly underrated, but highly effective for your business. And it makes sense why it's highly underrated because people don't want to do that work. They don't want to consistently send emails and consistently not get results. They want to consistently, drive traffic but not get results yet. Like it takes a while. It takes years to get to the top. Once you get to the top, you appreciate the years that you spent. So it's a process. And now with so many things happening with social and search, because search now makes you too. Thank you, John. Appreciate you so much for being here. When you think about search, right? Search is huge for your base because when you think about search and you're showing up on results that have that search intent, it's a good thing. Now, I'll give you a quick pro tip, right? A quick pro tip. A quick pro tip. If you want to hear this pro tip, put a one in the chat. I want to just know if you guys are here. About to wrap this up, but I want to make sure that you guys get this information so you can see this. Put a one in the chat if you're here. Let's see. You guys are probably okay. Unique is here because everybody's, multitasking. Okay. All right. You guys are here. All right. So this is something I want to let you know. This is a pro tip. And if you want more questions about this and how we can get this done, I'm going to put my link at the top. So if you want to get on a direct, actually, you know what? I'll make it easier because I do want to have a conversation with you. I just don't want it to be, oh, we have a booking call. I want to actually have a conversation with you because that's what's going to help me know how to make this work. All right. So here's a pro tip. We have 5 minutes to go. Hello, Lisa from Central Florida. Thanks for being here. Here's a pro tip. Go on Google search, right? And type in anything that you want to see based on what you're looking for. Now, somebody give me an example in the chat. Just put it like 2 words in the chat. I want us to make this a practical example. I don't want to give the example, but I want to make an example out of the example. Make a point out of it. Put 2 words in the chat that you would search for. That's related to you, not just anything you search for, but if somebody searches for this keyword, you want to be part of that result. Okay. Photo booth. All right. Perfect. That's a big one. So photo booth retreat. Okay. So I'll do photo booth and retreats. So I type in photo booth. I'm in Houston. So when you type in anything online, it's going to be focused on your location, right? Because your location is turned on your computer, it's turned on your phone. Now, when I type in photo booth, I'm getting results: photo booth rental, photo booth for sale, photo booth props, photo booths in the city. For me, it's Houston. Photo booth online. So I click photo booth. Now, as soon as I hit photo booth, what do I get? I see sponsors from Photomaster, Amazon, Walmart. I see Apple. I see Amazon. I see photo booth for sale. All right. Now, question is, do you sell photo booths? Do you rent them out? Do you own a business? I would love to know that, Tareen, if you're available. Let me see. Okay, I just checked your profile. So you're the owner. We'd love to hear from you if you're available, but you're owner of it. Okay. So I don't know to work, rent them. Okay, perfect. Now, because I'm seeing brands like Apple, there's an Apple photo booth app, right? There's Apple, there's Walmart, and there's Amazon. Apple, Walmart, and Amazon. I'll say that's AWA, AWA, right? Now, when it comes to brand partnership, right? Because it's SEO and social media we're talking about, what I've noticed is that when you scroll down on the first page of Google, look out for any social media platform that shows up on the first page. If it's not there, then that means that it could be on the next page, right? Like in this case, for example, like in this case, it's on YouTube. So the second page is on YouTube. So most people leave on the first page. I'm just giving you like a best practice. If you want to really know what's going on in your industry, first page, second page, third page are good ranges on Google to check. That's the first 30 pages that show up on Google search results. If any of them shows up as a social media platform, so like for you now, Tareen, it's YouTube. Now, on your website, if you have a website, I would be creating content about Amazon, Walmart, and Apple, not to send them to those platforms, but to let them know that we understand where you search from. That's the basis. People always go to Amazon to look for photo booths. They go to Walmart. They go to these places, and they, of course, go to websites that are maybe local. They can go to their own place. But I see Reddit there. Reddit is also there, right? So the question is, this was 3 months ago, photo booth without printouts. So people want to know photo booths with printouts versus photo booths without printouts. So you see where I'm going? It gets deeper and deeper into search. Now I'm able to go on social media and talk about the differences because I know what's being talked about on the web. So it gives you more structure so that on your website, you're able to know what to talk about. If I even go deeper into it, I'm able to even know what platforms they, right? And that's where you're able to really get that information, that intel. So it starts off with going to Google, seeing what the results are, looking out for the social media channels that you see that pop up, and then see why they're popping up, and then from there go to those platforms and then study what they're doing, if they've covered the topics, if, because it's not just one link that they're ranking for. It's probably because they talked about it 10 times that that one link is referring to that one question. So you can't say, okay, I'm just going to do one video for one question. You want to cover a range of topics so that you can fulfill the question. So when you fulfill the question, you're able to get more results, and that's what gives you more insight. So that's something I wanted to just let you know on that. When it comes to your website, when it comes to your control, if you want to get people through the door, if you want to rent them out, you have to even have the word for rent, photo booth for rent, right? If it's photo booth for rent, what do I see? I'm seeing, yeah, Houston photo booth rental. And in your state, in your city, you'll see something different. But right now, what I'm looking at is just websites that just have pages. So what would I do? I would create articles on the website to discuss about photo booths for rent, and then discuss how those rentals, yes, you should do blogs on your website. For every page that you have on your, for every page you have on your social media, you should have at least one, like a one of one, like have a ratio of 1 to 1 on your website. Now, it doesn't just mean having a blog and posting it, because it gets very technical, but at least the start is to start a blog. And then from there, you need a structure, because there's a structure of a blog. It's not just a blog, there's a structure to a blog. So if you have any questions, I would love to definitely show you how this is done. Please click the link above, and this link will take you to where we can talk about it, fill out that form, and we'll have a discussion, have a connection. And that way I'll be able to know what your goals are, and we can now take that to the next level and give you the results that you're looking for. It takes action. One thing I want to leave you with here is, you can't give what you don't have. So you need to give information that is credible, that is also attainable, and also accessible to the web, so that when the web is searching for information, your result comes up as a solution, and then they can find your solution and actually opt in, because you're giving them what they want. And then after that, you'll give them what they need. That's the goal. You give them what they want because that's what they came for, and then give them what they need because they probably didn't know that they needed that either. So that's how you're able to do it. And I hope that answered your question, Tareen. At least gave you an insight or some scope on how that works. So appreciate you, Unique, Julie, Toby, Derek, Pete, Tareen, Stella, Fefe, Naga, Monica, Hafsa, me, Elliot, Lisa, Pesman, Kemi, and Kit, Kodesh, Ebuka, and Tamika. Oh, that rhymed. Y'all, both of you, please make sure that you follow this house. This house is 350 members plus, 350K members plus, and we've been doing this consistently here. I'm going to be here on Sunday for, it's going to be my Clubhouse. Actually, I'll be here again later this afternoon. How to create dynamic content. I'm going to be on Zoom, by the way. That one is going to be very intense. I'm going to be on Zoom, and I'm going to actually have I'll call it like a workshop, a masterclass on how to do keyword research. So whatever I've talked about today, listen to this replay. I'll be back here at 1 p.m. Central. I'll be talking about this for an hour. I'll have a Zoom link here at the top so you guys can join me on Zoom. And if you're really, really serious, if you're really serious about it, we can take this to the next level and start. Just think about where you could be a year from now if you focus on what's important today. Thank you all for joining. God bless you all. Have a happy Friday, and I'm gonna see you guys in a few hours.